I'm excited.
Any day now, maybe, right?
Any day.
Your wife said 5 days?
Our due date's in 5 days, but
You gonna go all the way? You have any induction date or anything crazy?
No.
So let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah.
So a lot of people get induced versus natural, like going into labor naturally when their water breaks or whatever the case may be. Generally, that's what happens. Your water breaks, and you're like, oh crap, it's time to go to the hospital.
Right.
And by water breaking, I mean it's like a big flood of water.
I assume it's what they say. It's
your water breaks and there's like a ton of water. And there's some people that like panic and freak out. Usually the first time around it's like, oh my God, I go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And she's gonna call you because she's probably gonna be at home. And she's probably, it usually happens generally when somebody's being active. So like a lot of times it's like they're vacuuming or they're walking the dog or they're doing this or they're doing that.
Some kind of physical.
And it induces that to happen. And I've known people that have like finished what they were doing before they went to the hospital. It's not like you, I'm not going to say you don't have to rush to the hospital because I don't want that liability.
So we went and took a couple of classes. We've done like 3 or 4 classes since, new parents classes. And they said...
which is funny because I never did one.
Really?
I was like, I know everything. But I also felt really comfortable with our doctors too that gave us a lot of information. And I just felt like I had enough information to like do what I needed to do.
A couple of the classes were free, and they're through Candler here in Savannah, but most hospitals will have a free class. One of them we paid for, and it got a lot more involved in exactly what you should expect. And the hospital one was more what to expect at the hospital. So one thing they tell you is don't go to the hospital immediately when you start contracting because they're not going to admit you until you're 4 centimeters dilated.
Right, unless you're induced.
Unless you're induced. They say once your water breaks, they'll take you immediately and just start going. But yeah, so man, we're just, I don't know.
What did they tell you to expect?
Well, what do you mean?
Was there certain things? So I'll run through my scenario.
Okay, because
how it went for me.
I don't know what's to expect.
So here's what
I expect
happened.
like water, me freaking out, going 150 miles.
Or that may not happen.
Right.
Your due date might come and go, and it's a week later or 2 weeks later, and she's dilated, and they're gonna be like, you know what, you're ready, the baby's ready, let's just go induce you. And it might happen that way.
Yeah.
Some people go 2 weeks after their due date, and they're still like, all right, what's up, baby, you coming or what?
Right.
So for what happened for us was the first time around, Brandy was like 36, 38, probably 38 weeks. And she was slightly dilated, and she was just like about to pop. I mean, she was just like ready. Everybody was ready. Baby was ready, like good and grown and weight and everything else. Brandy was like, get this baby out of me. And like, well, you want to schedule it for Monday? And they were like, I was like, man, Monday really screws up business for me. Can't we do this over a weekend?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because as a business owner, that's a big deal. You're like, shoot, if I'm like, when you have so much to do with the day-to-day operations and being out of the shop for several days, like really puts a hurting on things.
I've been stressed knowing I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks.
Right. So it's like, holy smokes. So anyways, the doctor was like, how about Monday? And we're like, all right. I'm like, dang, how about Friday? Well, sure enough, like Saturday or Sunday, the doctor's office calls, hey, somebody that was scheduled to be induced came in and had a baby already, so there's an opening Friday. Do you want to come in on Friday?
Yeah.
And Brandy's like, hey, what should I tell him? I'm like, tell him, hell yeah.
We'll be there Friday.
So she was like, she freaked out because she was
because then she knows she's having.
Well, she was preparing for Monday, so she's like, all right, Monday's the day. And now it's like, actually, I'm sorry, I said they called Saturday. They called like Thursday, the day before, and so I was like, well, tell him, hell yeah. She's like, oh, I don't know if I'm ready. Like, that's tomorrow, She's like freaking out. I was like, yeah, but that gives me like the Friday and then the weekend, and then I don't feel stressed out because the shop's gonna be going and I'm good. So anyways, we go in at like 4 or 5 a.m., do all the paperwork, get you all signed up and blah, 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 blah,
triage or whatever, right?
What a pain. So you go in, they give us our room, they get her, so they start hooking her up, all the sensors and monitors and IVs and whatever else you know what I mean? And they're just start monitoring stuff. And then they start a Pitocin drip to induce the labor, which is really weird. So it like tells your body to go into labor.
They told us something about that. Yeah.
It's really weird. So it's like, wow, how like a drug can put you into labor like that. It's super crazy. So then she starts having contractions and it's all that stuff. And as soon as I like hear like, all right, you'll start having contractions, I'm like, all right, this is gonna happen like right now.
Yeah, how long?
No, it's like 8 hours later. You know what I mean? So finally they're like, okay, well you're, because then they start that starts to get her to dilate. You know, and they're like, they check her and all this stuff, and you're like weirded out by it.
Yeah.
And then they're like, okay, she's 4 centimeters or 6 centimeters or whatever, and then they're finally like, all right, now we can break your water. So they go in with this like.
Oh wow! So they showed us the hook.
The hook, yeah.
Yeah, they showed us.
It's crazy. So it's like this long thing.
It's a piece of plastic with a tiny little hook.
Hook on the end, like a seatbelt cutter.
It's
like
exactly
a little
what
thing.
it is. Yeah.
So they reach that thing up in there, and they
busted the water.
They break
right
it
on the table. Huh?
Yeah. So she's sitting there, and they like, the beds are cool because they can like change the sheets and do all this stuff, and there's like a trap. Anyways.
Yeah.
So they break her water, and it's like, whoa, this is like, okay, now shit just got real.
Yeah.
You know. And
he's coming.
Yeah. Well, it still takes a long time after that.
Really?
Dude,
yeah.
it could take hours and hours and hours. So it gets to be like nauseating, and of course, like especially the first time.
And she's probably screaming the whole time.
No. Well, so okay. So let's get to that. Let's get to that. Epidurals.
We're getting an epidural.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We watched a bunch of.
That's a hot topic. A lot of people are like, all natural.
We watched 50. They make. We watched the birthing videos in the class, and only they showed all different types of birthing, and all these women are in terrible pain, and then the last one had an epidural, and she's reading a magazine.
Yeah.
And like it was.
I mean, and I don't mean this because I know a lot of you guys watching are probably on the all natural path, and that's fine. I'm not judging you for that. No. For me, like, and Brandy was the same way. Like, when you go to the doctor and like have your birthing plan, like, yes, I want an epidural, this, that, and the other, whatever the case is, and they'll go over all that stuff. And Brandy was like, I don't want to feel anything. Like, if I have that option, that's the option I want.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's not guaranteed.
Same way.
It's not guaranteed. Like, there's cases where like you get an epidural and mom's still in a lot of pain.
They say if you come in, and you're ready dilated, they can give you the epidural, but it doesn't go into effect before you actually have the baby.
So you could have the baby before
they also
it starts
said you can have the epidural up to 5 minutes before the baby is delivered. They'll give you the epidural from the beginning to the end, but they say after a certain amount of time, it's pointless because it's not going to affect it by the time you're going in all these
And
contractions.
for you guys that don't know, so here's how they do the epidural, and so you'll want to know this, and you might have already been through this before. Here's what's going to happen is they're going to sit her up from the bed, right? She'll be all hooked up to everything, and they're going to like, are you ready? Or we're coming in. The anesthesiologist is going to come in, and he's going to have his little rolly cart, and they're going to have her sit on the edge of the bed and put her feet off the edge, and you're going to come over here and you're going to hold her, and she's going to like bend over like this, and then they're going to find the spot in her back where they're going to put it, and they're going to like feel for her spine and all this stuff, and they take this real long needle, and they're like, and you're like watching this, and you're like, oh my gosh. And that's why I guess it's so risky, is because they're putting this long needle into your spine.
It's like a spinal tap almost.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. But
so it's an IV actually.
Yeah.
So it just runs an IV right in your spine.
Right. And then they give you the button. And I don't know if it's kind of like morphine. You know what I mean? Where
I don't know.
I can't remember if we had that or not. I don't believe we did.
It probably is constant.
It is, but I feel like you can increase it if needed, but I don't recall. I could be completely wrong about that. It's been a few years. I've been in and out of the hospital for so many different things.
That's awesome.
So anyway, and then they'll lay down, and then all of a sudden, like they'll be like, I'm not having contractions anymore. Like, oh no, you are. You're just not feeling it. You know what I mean? Because you'll see it on the monitor.
Yeah, I guess they were showing us the monitor can measure contractions.
It's crazy, yeah. So they got all those sensors on them, and you'll see them like spike, and you can watch the contractions happen, and you'll even see their stomach tense up and do weird stuff.
I guess after the water breaks, you see like the alien.
Yeah.
Inside,
it's so crazy. Like the whole thing, and like I got a weak stomach for that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like as soon as this starts going down, I'm gonna be like vomiting in the corner. But not at all. I was like, it's totally cool, and you're like, whoa, this is nuts. And they're like, I think the first time around, they're like, came to check her to see like where she was, and they're like, oh, okay, well, let's go ahead and do this. And, like, no one else is in the room, no doctors. The nurse is just like, all right, well, why don't you just go ahead and start pushing? I was like, oh God, like this just got serious for real this time.
Right now.
And it was just, and then, so it was cool because there's like, everybody's like her parents and my parents and her sister and all these people, and she didn't really want everybody there anyways, like in the room, you know what I mean? Yeah. Usually they allow like 1 or 2 people or something, but then it just kind of all happened, and everyone is out in the waiting room kind of like mingling and stuff, and it was just started happening, And so it was cool. It was really, really kind of an intimate thing with me and her, and I think her mom. And I think the biggest thing for me was just staying calm for her, because she was kind of, you know, it's crazy. She's like freaking out, like, oh my God, she can't feel anything, and she's just going off of what other people are telling her to push. So I stood next to her. She's in the bed. I stood next to her, hold her hand, and I just count to 10 during the pushes. You know what I mean? Like, and just like stay calm and like check it. It was so crazy, dude.
Support.
Exactly. It's all about support.
Awesome.
But dude, it's a crazy experience for sure.
Well,
but
we're looking forward to it, and we're excited, man. And
dude, it's so cool.
I'm ready for them to hammer
take
my
it
little
in,
boy.
take as many pictures as you can, if they'll allow it. So I know some hospitals are weird about pictures and video and things like that, but that's what you can expect.
It's going to be exciting, man. It's exciting.
Yeah, so for sure. What are you most nervous about?
Taking them home.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to give me this kid, man,
and
say,
like,
here
right,
you
2
go.
days later, like, all right. You're like, it's a keeper.
Dude, just nervous. I mean, I'm excited.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? You'll figure it out. It's like, and everybody, and it's nervous for everybody. Like first time around, and you're like, I don't know what to do. Am I going to be okay? And you know, trying to figure out schedules and all that kind of stuff. But like, there's
and luckily we both work. We have own a business, so you know, she can work from home. I can work from home some.
Yeah. Through the phone.
Yeah, and so you know, luckily we're in a good place, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the
a lot of support around you.
Yeah.
Plenty of help, and there's like even if you weren't in a position where you had support and people and help, like you can call the hospital, you can call your pediatrician, you can call the doctor's office, like Dr. Webb, for example.
That guy in the videos that you've been doing.
So he's from Savanah.
Okay.
He's at he's in
somewhere over
Rincon
here.
or something.
Pooler or Rincon.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, like he's awesome. He does a lot of military families. He's right outside of the base at Fort Stewart.
Yeah, and I mean, I assume there's plenty of resources.
Dude, there's so many resources. So like that's the biggest things. Like, don't be afraid to ask somebody. Like, you're not on your own. You're not by yourself. Like, if you don't know, just ask.
Yeah, I mean, my sister has 2 kids, so we've been asking her everything. And she said, you don't need this. You need this.
Yeah.
Expect this. Don't it? You know.
Yeah.
And then you know, my wife's she searches everything she does. She's like me, you know. So which could be good and bad, because you start reading too much stuff, and then you get contradicting information, and then you're like, well, what's right and what's not, and like there's a lot of things. There's no right way to do it. No. It's like it's what works best for you. Yeah, is what it comes down to. It's like everybody's needs are different. Everybody's kids make you feel
different.
comfortable and
all
safe.
The parents are different, and how you're going to deal with things versus how that person's going to deal with things or whatever. So it's like it's all an individual basis, right? And it's all someone's opinion. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody's got an opinion about everything.
Well, so I'm excited, man.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Don't be nervous. You got all kinds of. It'll be fun, and a boy too. Man, I'm so jealous.
you got a bunch of girls.
A bunch of girls. 2 girls, man. 2 girls.
Dude.
But,
cool. Well, I'm excited.
All right, dude.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate you.
No, thank you. Freaking bag. That thing is awesome, man. Hold on. I got to fix it.
You need the right patch on it?
Yep.